Hey everybody, it's Michael here from Replica Airguns with another tabletop video review. Today we're looking at the Umarex Glock 17. This is a 3rd gen CO2 Blowback BB pistol. This gun is available in both our Canada and our US online Replica Airguns stores over at replicaairguns.ca for Canada and replicaairguns.us for the US. Now this is a licensed replica of the Glock 17, again 3rd gen, which is basically a 9mm pistol from Glock. This is distributed by Umarex. It's made in Taiwan. Now it does come in this clamshell packaging, unfortunately. We'll take a look at that in a second here. It uses 4.5mm steel BBs, so a steel BB gun, not an airsoft gun. It also uses standard 12-gram CO2 cartridges. It's a semi-auto blowback design, not the full blowback, but a good blowback, decent blowback action. It comes in at 1.6 pounds or 726 grams. The magazine holds 18 rounds and it's a full-size drop-out metal magazine. We'll look at it in a bit. This gun has a 4-inch smoothbore barrel with a kind of a double action trigger. Basically the first part of the trigger pull indexes a BB into the breech, and then you have the release. Now the blowback action does actuate the internal hammer, so there's less friction on the trigger. This gun has a claimed FPS of 365, has a metal slide and a polymer frame as you'd expect, very similar to the real steel version. It has fixed front and back white dot sights. And again, it's Glock licensed through Umarex. Now I just want to quickly show you that clamshell, right? So kind of get in here on the specs so you can see here, right? 365 FPS, blowback action, 12-gram CO2, steel BBs, right? 18 rounds, dropout mag, okay? Everything, got the rail, weaver rail, and the metal slide, okay? Nothing fancy. There's a little blurry here. So there's your packaging. Nothing really that fancy. You pretty much have to destroy these things just to get at the manual, which is in the bottom. Now it did come with an Allen key. Now I'm not really sure why, but this Allen key has this tool. It sort of has like a different thing for adjusting stuff, but I couldn't find any like actual screws or anything that these would adjust. There's no hop up. There's no real easy way to even field strip this gun, right? The takedown levers or the takedown little notches on the side where you'd normally take down these Glock style pistols doesn't seem to work. It's just molded in. So you might have to remove pins. I'd say pins, maybe, you know, that's probably what you're going to do is remove a pin to actually take this gun down and field strip it. But this will let you adjust the CO2 with this Allen key. Here's the manual. Okay, again, got your specifications there. You can read that on your own time, freeze frame it if you need to, all the same stuff. It's kind of hard for me to see because it's just so tiny in the screen here on the camera. Okay, so you got just some basic instructions for loading and parts of the gun, right? How to adjust the safety, how to install CO2 in the magazine, right? How to load BBs, things like that, okay? Not too much, how to sight it when you're targeting the gun, okay? All right, before we take a close look at the pistol, let's compare it to a few other ones. Now we have another BB pistol from Umarex. This is the Glock 19. Nice gun, nice heavy, even heavier than the actual 17, but this is the compact 19, right? This is a non-blowback gun with a stick style magazine, and everyone's, you know, they were excited when this came out that at least we had a licensed Glock via Umarex. Nice pistol, very solid gun, a lot of fun. It's still a fun gun to shoot. Pretty high FPS because it's non-blowback, good CO2 efficiency. But you know, a lot of you like the working slide, the blowback action, just a little bit more realistic. So that's how this is different. Not only is it a Glock 19 as opposed to a Glock 17, but it's a non-blowback CO2 BB gun. Still a nice gun. Then we have this front gun here, the Glock 17 Gen 4. This is an airsoft pistol, okay? And I will be reviewing this gun for you later. Another this is a blowback gun. Full blowback, so you get the full slide cycle all the way back, okay? So it's different a little bit than the gun I'm showing you today, but this is full blowback action, right? Airsoft pistol. This has more of a true kind of single action trigger, although the Glock trigger isn't really single action. It isn't really double action. It's kind of almost like a hybrid trigger, the way that they use it with the striker fire. So I guess it's kind of a striker fire system. Essentially, the way the Glock trigger works is the hammer comes back almost 100%, but then not all the way. So when you're pulling the trigger, you're actually pulling that last little bit of the striker or the hammer, internal striker, until, you know, basically it comes back just that last little bit and then releases it. Whereas a lot of single action pistols, It's just the release point that the trigger has. The trigger doesn't actually pull the hammer or striker back. It just releases it. Okay, so a little bit different, but I wouldn't say it's single or double action, almost a hybrid. Okay, so let's take a look at this Umarex 17, Glock 17 Gen 3. Let's take the mag out for now. So you see it's a blowback, but not quite as far. I'd say it's a 3/4 blowback system. It goes back pretty good, but not as full, right? The spring isn't too bad actually. The spring's got a bit of tension in it, not as weak as some, but could be a little heavier. Got that little clanky sound. I noticed some of these guns have a bit of a clanky sound as opposed to, hear the difference? Kind of like the SA-17, some of the other pistols from Umarex have that little bit of clankiness to them, but I'm not sure if it's just the materials that the gun's made out of. If we can focus here. Okay, let's take a look here. So you notice here we've got the markings, we've got the rail. This is actually your safety, okay? Underneath here where the serial number would go. If I only had a fingernail, put that out the other way. Okay, so red indicates fire, obviously. We have warning instructions on the bottom there, Picatinny rail. Now these takedown levers here don't function, so I can't field strip it for you. Slide catch release, does lock back on the last round, magazine release, Glock licensing, right? Okay, take a look at these white dot sights in the front, right? Sort of open ejection port. That square white marking on the back, right? Okay. Officially licensed product of Glock. Serial number. Open ejection port. Or sorry, open barrel. Recessed barrel. Don't know what I'm talking about here. Okay, here's the magazine. Okay, now this is a very similar magazine to a lot of the full-size magazines, partial blowback BB guns. So what basically happens is when, I'll show you. Let's put this in there. So there's the top of the mag. There's the top of the mag. Now when I pull the trigger, what happens is this indexes a BB into the breech, okay? So that's kind of what's happening with this magazine. And that basically pulls it forward. It creates a more airtight seal, I guess you'd say. So when you shoot the gun, you're not getting much CO2 loss. You're getting a little bit more power, right? Because when you pull the trigger, this comes forward, pushes the BB into the breech, and boom, there you go. Now the one downside is that sometimes if you're holding the gun down and you don't release the trigger right away, you can actually have the BB roll out of the gun. So keep your gun level, not pointed down, and just make sure that you don't like hang there once the BB's in the breech and just hang there for a long time. Otherwise, potentially the BB again could roll out of the barrel. But if you're just, shooting pretty fast, you'll be fine. Now you notice there's a lot less, once the internal hammer is cocked, there's a lot less friction. I can feel a lot less friction as opposed to I'm pulling the hammer back now. It's like more true double action. And then this has pre-cocked the hammer, very light now, just basically going to be indexing a BB and then releasing the hammer, okay? So that's kind of how that works. Obviously, your BBs go in here, right? You just load them up through there. Your CO2, have your CO2 screw in the bottom. You just put your CO2 in there, tighten it up with the Allen key, and you're good to go. Okay, that's pretty much it for showing you around the gun. Now, I haven't shot this gun yet. Looking forward to shooting it. I'll be doing some field test shooting videos hopefully next week for this Glock 17 Gen 3 BB pistol and hopefully the Airsoft Gen 4 blowback gun next week. Okay, so look forward to those. I'll be doing the tabletop video review for the Gen 4 Glock 17 Airsoft this week as well. Okay, some pros, some cons, and then we'll conclude this video. The Umarex Glock 17 3rd Gen blowback BB pistol has decent weight, has pretty good quality overall. And of course, it's a really nice looking replica of the original Glock 17 Gen 3. It's fully Glock licensed through Umarex. You do have that Glock licensing on the gun. Not going to get harassed by Glock, either reviewing it or owning it or selling it. So that's good. Easy to see white dot sights front and back. It has that recessed barrel for added realism, that barrel opening. You also have the accessory rail for adding a laser or tactical light if you choose to. You're going to find a full-size drop-out metal magazine on this gun that holds the CO2 and the 18 BBs, the 4.5mm steel BBs. It's always nice when you have that full-size dropout metal magazine, similar in size and weight to an actual real steel magazine. Better than the stick mags, right? The safety is built into the serial number plate area, which keeps it well hidden. Doesn't stand out. It's not like fabricated into the side or anything like that. And the warning instructions are nice and discreet under the trigger guard. They're not blasted on the side of the slide again in big white lettering. So that's good. Now it's not a bad, I'm not really sure if I want to call it a double action trigger or not, but there definitely is something going on in terms of when you're pulling the first stage of the trigger, you are loading a BB, so it does give the impression of a double action trigger, both in length and in how it feels. But the reality is that the hammer, the internal hammer, is pre-cocked when the slide goes back and forth. So you're just releasing the hammer like a single action trigger would. So kind of feels like a double action, but it's actually more like a single action. Now you're going to get 365 FPS, so they claim. We'll find out when I do my field test shooting video. We'll see if we really do get up there. I expect it to. It's realistic numbers for a partial blowback BB pistol like this. The way the magazine works, the way that the BB seal in the breech will give this gun a little bit more power than a full blowback BB pistol for sure. All right, some cons. It does have blowback action, but it's not full blowback. So if you like that full cycle blowback action, not really going to get it here, but you're still going to get some nice blowback recoil with this pistol. Now the slide sound is kind of clanky, metallic sounding. I don't know why. Most of these guns are made out of pot metal or zinc alloy, so why do some sound more metallic than others? I don't know, but this one does. Now the sights are non-adjustable. They are white dot. They are easy to see, but they're non-adjustable as you would find with most of these action shooter blowback pistols. And I would have liked to have seen this gun come in a box. I'm really not a big fan of the plastic clamshell packaging. You pretty much just destroy it getting in there. You need to have some crazy scissors or knife, and you might cut yourself on all the sharp plastic. Not a big fan, and you got to go digging around for the manuals and anything that it comes with at the bottom. I really don't like it. I get it that they're easy to display. You can see the gun through the plastic clamshell wrap, but really anything inside a plastic clamshell to me just looks cheap. You know, as soon as you get it out of that packaging, everything's fine. But when it's inside there, I almost think of it as like a toy. And I really don't want to look at these guns as toys. All right, again, this gun is available in our Canada and US Replica Airgun store over at replicaairguns.ca for Canada and replicaairguns.us for the US. If you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're interested in other products, check out our Replica Airguns stores again for air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories. And check out replicaairguns.com for my written reviews and posts with additional photos. All right, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.